In this video, I'm driving a 1985 Toyota Corolla FX-GT. Yes, a 1985 Toyota Corolla FX-GT. This is very mid-1980s performance. This is an AE82, just to make it more clear. So closely related to the AE86, the oh my god drift version of the Toyota Corolla. I think this counts as the third generation of the Corolla overall, and this is a Japanese market hot hatch. It is quite hot indeed. Slightly different to the UK models in terms of front end styling. I don't think we had that indicator treatment in the UK, but in lovely condition. It's got Ray's Engineering wheels, which look quite fabulous. I think that is quite a nice looking wheel, lovely colour, and it also has a Japanese accessory body kit going on, this wide arch kit, which just slots in under this trim panel here and just gives it a bit of a fat arch thing. That's why the owner's fitted the larger wheels. He feels they're needed to stop the wheels looking pathetic underneath the wider arches. As we can see on the back, it is proudly a twin cam 16 valve engine, also proudly a Toyota Corolla. You can see the original clips for the Japanese number plate. This car sold new in Japan in 1985, came to New Zealand in 1990. It is JDM as yeah, it's pretty JDM, FX-GT Limited. But really nice styling on these. I think this was a real turning point for Toyota, and they became hugely popular cars. They sold in their millions. The FX is the three-door hatchback. That tag FX wasn't used in the UK, it was just sold as a Toyota Corolla. But there was also a five-door liftback, which is quite an unusual looking thing in itself. Not quite as happy, I don't think, as these models, but all of the performance in quite a feisty little package here. I think we got the GTI in the UK, but I don't remember ever seeing many. We definitely got the A92, the subsequent version, in GTI form. But yeah, it's quite an interesting package. Let's have a nose under the bonnet. And here we go. There is the legendary Toyota 4-age twin cam 16 valve engine. Obviously it's quite proud of the fact, it says it on the top. To put this in perspective, these generate 118 brake horsepower, I think it is, and at some quite high revs. A 1.6 litre engine generally, you know, in this era would be somewhere between 75 and 90 brake horsepower for European models, for your regular cooking models. So that was a fair chunk of performance from a fairly small engine. It's got T-Viz, which I believe is adjustable air intakes depending on engine revs, so it boosts torque, but more notably really boosts the top end. And I'll just cover his chassis number, but as we come in, there is the AE82. It's also had timing belt replaced some time ago, but hasn't done very many miles since. We've got alternators buried down there. No, it isn't. Alternators buried down the back of the engine, because down the front we've got power steering pump and air conditioning compressor. So it's this cosy little engine bay, I would say. But nonetheless, it all seems to function as it should. Over here we've got the gearbox, 5-speed gearbox, hydraulic clutch, and the cooling system, the thermostat's over here. It's not even on the engine. It's a slightly different way of doing things. Usual Japanese very skinny radiator, but yeah, all looks good really. Use the designated fuses only. There you go, we have been warned. There is a strut brace. I don't know if that was factory or not. I suspect it was factory, given the fact we've got this sensor clipped to it. So it's just stiffening up the front end slightly. Let's take a look inside. I'll just drop the bonnet just because it can be nice to hear these. Dropping it can be a sign of the quality of the car. I did a really bad job of that. So coming inside, we'll open the door first of all. Typical Japanese high quality, if slightly tinny. We've got these amazing seats. The AE86 also has amazing seats. Super supportive, comfy buckets, and a sporty steering wheel that also looks very similar to the AE86. I'll try and get my sandals out of the way. I know they terrify some people. So yeah, very similar steering wheel to the AE86, and also these very, very Japanese bright orange gauges. Let's just put some of the warning lights on for you. There you go, there are quite a few, but as you can see, 224,000 kilometers on the clock, but it's all minty fresh in here. I've got a switch there for the parking lights. That's quite nice. I think heated rear window on that one. Would have had air conditioning, sadly isn't functioning today. Digital clock. Don't seem to light up particularly. Electric mirrors, but manual windows. So we've got power steering and central locking and electric mirrors, but you still have to wind up these considerable windows yourself. There is also a pop-up sunroof. I don't know if that was an original item or if that was fitted by someone else. You can see headline's just going a bit crinkly here, but yeah, I mean the condition is kind of astonishing really. Got this aftermarket pedal, Excel SD, whatever that is. Bit peculiar. There's the key, but yeah, it's all good really. A little cubby box down there, more modern stereo because he likes to actually listen to music. And oh, that's some good mess in there. Well done, sir. Ooh. I wonder what these were. Ah, that's for his badge that he's stuck on. Interesting. JDM as yeah, just very JDM. Quite like this little transformer guy hanging from the mirror as well. Very, very fitting, even though I'm not normally a fan of such things. But yeah, really nice driving position. You'll see we've got somewhere to rest the clutch foot, even if it is in a sandal, and all very comfortable. Sitting in the back, it's really not too bad. I've got enough headroom for me. I'm about 5'8", 5'9". I can get my legs, knees alert, behind the seat, so it's really quite comfortable. It feels surprisingly spacious for what is a fairly small car. There are head restraints, and they're proper ones as well. I wonder if you can adjust them for height, not just those ones sculpted into the back that just break your neck. Windows are pop-out style-y, and also tinted glass to help you look extra cool. Boot space would be quite reasonable if the owner, oh, that seems to be fixed into place. Oh no, there we go. Just the weight of the speakers. Yeah, if the owner hadn't put an enormous sub in the boot. But to be fair, I like bass as well, so I'll let him off. Fires up nice and quickly, as you'd expect. Fuel injected 4-cylinder engine, very smooth. The gear lever is perhaps a little long throw for a sporty car, but I quite like it. I think it has quite a nice feel to it. Handbrake off, and we're away. And the first thing that struck me as I was driving this car is how generally how refined it is. It just feels really pleasant to drive when you're driving sort of gentle but bimbling around town pace. The steering is actually not over light. It feels quite pleasant. Indicators right, of course. But yeah, to really enjoy this car, you kind of have to nail it, which is unfortunate. It's not actually terrifyingly rapid, but it does sound fast, and it feels oh so alive. It just feels really well planted. You got a lot of road noise because New Zealand and New Zealand road surfaces. But yeah, when you wind the engine up, it really does get a shift on. It's very impressive. I'm going to try and turn the fans on to cool me down a bit, because it is very warm, especially with this glass sunroof for which there is no shade. So I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. But it's got decent mid-range punch as well, so you don't always have to wring its neck. But it's just, yeah, it's a lovely car to drive. And the gear lever you can snick through nice and quickly. And you know, the steering's a bit safer than the AE86. Everyone goes on that rear wheel drive is marvellous. And yeah, there's a time and a place for rear wheel drive. I'm just not sure the public road is it. So if you want a car you can enjoy on the public road, I think this car really is the one to go for. Disc brakes all round, they do a really good job of stopping, but I've pulled over because we haven't tested the wipers yet. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just enough overlap to avoid a triangle of doom. Wiper comes nicely to the edge. So I would say that is very, very Japanese, to be honest. Right, how do we make the rear wiper work? Because that also needs a test. I'm going to pull you out of the bracket and we'll see if we can make that so. I'm wondering if it's a push back arrangement. No. Is it a twist arrangement? No. Maybe it isn't on that stalk. There must be a separate switch, perhaps. Ah, there we go. Separate switch it is. Ah, I think there is, yeah, we seem to have front washers going on both ends. I think something's wired a little incorrectly there, but a very good wiper. Look at that. Very impressive coverage of the screen. So, yeah, that's quite amusing, but we seem to have front wipers and rear wipers all on the same switch. Right, but there's the rev counter ahead, and it wants to be up here basically all the time. About 4.5 is when it really starts waking up, so you got a really punchy power band up there. And speaking of which, I think we should probably see more of it. Are you ready for more of the same? It's fair to say most European petrol engines just don't behave like that, or diesel ones for that matter. The engine that came closest to that sort of behaviour was the BX16 valve and the Peugeot MI16. Both twin cam engines, both exceedingly punchy above 4,000. That's when they really came on song, and this is exactly like that. This must have been the inspiration, really. I mean, the gearing is very low, so now we're doing about 100 kilometers an hour. It's pulling 3,500 revs, so on motorways, not in New Zealand, it would be terribly fussy. As it happens, this is the fastest you can go pretty much anywhere in New Zealand. It's 100k even on the motorways. So it's not an issue here, but driving in the UK, driving in France, where you could do 130 kilometers an hour legally, that would be getting very, very buzzy indeed. So the gears are all stacked very close together, so it's very easy to keep it in that power band right at the top. But yeah, what a car. It doesn't feel like a car that came out in the early mid 1980s. I think it was about 83, 84 that this generation of Corolla came out. And I mean, I've driven performance versions of the Ford Escort and the Vauxhall Astra, albeit later in terms of years, and yeah, they can't really do what this car does, because it's huge fun when it wants to be, but it's so refined the rest of the time. The ride is actually comfortable. It doesn't jar. It's better than the Audi TT I'm in today. It's just got a level of composure I frankly didn't expect, because the Japanese are not great at composed ride. They tend to go over firm, so the fact this is so compliant has surprised me. The steering being power steering. It's lovely as well, really nicely weighted. So it just takes the labour out of lower speed work, but doesn't ruin the high speed cornering experience at all. And the fact my clutch foot has got somewhere to go, the fact this seat is so comfortable, it feels a really well designed, ergonomic design. It's not just a fun factory on wheels, it can be a very, very competent car all round. It has taken me by surprise. I didn't expect it to be quite so user friendly. When you're doing this, it doesn't feel like a hot hatch. It's only when you start chucking it into the bends it starts getting properly lively. So yeah, a great car. I like it very much. I've just realised there's a chance for a different angle here because of the glass sunroof. So I'm sure you won't mind joining me for another blat in this entertaining little car. I'll wait for this overloaded Nissan Navara. Gosh, that's brave. Putting that much weight in the back of a Navara. Which way we go? Actually, we're going that way, I think. Yes, we are. God, that picks up so much at the top end. But all that noise, and then you're just getting up to 100 kilometers an hour. And we will definitely behave as we go past this police car. Yeah, that's very usable power. It's not hidden away in a inaccessible power band. You can floor it completely through first and second and a good way through third before hitting the legal limit here. That's good, that's fun, it feels raw and energetic. It's yeah, astonishing how they've made it so confident yet also so much fun. Well done, Toyota. So there you go, that was the Toyota Corolla FX-GT. A very, very entertaining package and a lot of fun. If you haven't encountered one of these revvy 1980s engines, then you're really missing out. The Japanese absolutely nailed it and proved that Toyotas are not boring, despite what certain people might try and tell you. That is a lot of fun. I mean, if you go to Ireland, Toyotas are massively popular over there, and that's just one of the reasons. They can turn a humble hatchback into a very entertaining drive. So I should say, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Don't forget you can buy merchandise, not this t-shirt, at the Hub Nut store because we sold out. And I shall see you in a future video. Farewell. Hold on a minute, hold on a minute. I've missed something. What is this? Crikey, it's a distress flare. Slightly unexpected. Well, it is almost New Year's Eve, so this car comes with its own fireworks. Wow.